Hi, welcome back to the T-Shirt Teacher. Kristen Fruge here, published author, editor, and former high school English teacher. This is episode 9 of Pick Your Poison, and today we're going to talk about the immediate circumstances that follow Hamlet accidentally killing Polonius and the circumstances that follow Coriolanus being caught cheating in the Hunger Games. Neither story is over yet. Ballad is part of a larger series, the Hunger Games series, so of course there's more information and things to dissect within that story. Hamlet, however, is a standalone play, a tragedy in the terminology of literary and English circles. And Hamlet is a standalone. And it's also different because plays were meant to be watched, clearly. And today we're just jumping right back into Hamlet, where we left off. And where we left off, Hamlet has accidentally killed Polonius, but he does not realize yet it is Polonius. He thinks it's his uncle, the king, hiding behind the curtain in his mother's room. And before he has a chance to even discover what he's done, his mother is extremely upset, and in Act 3, Scene 4, line 26, she says, "Oh, what a rash and bloody deed is this!" And Hamlet replies in the following lines from 27 to 28, "A bloody deed, almost as bad, good mother, as kill a king and marry with his brother." So Hamlet immediately turns that guilt right back on her. And he pulls back the curtains, he discovers it's Polonius, makes a little speech about how that old fool should not have intervened, and then he continues to berate his mother, who is appalled at his words, but once Hamlet shows her a picture of his deceased father and his very much alive uncle, King Claudius, she shows a little remorse and guilt. Hamlet, though, becomes very irrational because it seems as though he is seeing something that she is not seeing. He is seeing his father's ghost, who is urging him to finish that job, avenge my death. His mom can't see the ghost, though, and she's very concerned that Hamlet has actually gone completely insane. And she thinks he's just lost his marbles because she cannot see the ghost herself. In Act 3, Scene 4, lines 135 to 142, we see that exchange between Hamlet and his mother, and in line 163 of the same scene, she says, "Oh, Hamlet, thou hast cleft my heart in twain." Basically, in the terms of that day, he's broken her heart in two. And Hamlet answers her, "Oh, throw away the worser part of it, and live with the pure with the other half. Good night. But go not to my uncle's bed. Assume a virtue if you have it not. That monster custom, who all sense doth eat, of habit's devil, is angel yet in this, that to use the actions fair and good, he likewise gives a frock of livery that is aptly put on. Refrain tonight, and that shall lend a kind of easiness to the next abstinent, and the next more easy." So basically he's saying, if you have any conscience left, don't be my uncle's wife anymore. And it'll be easier as time goes by. And the queen is very distraught. What should I do? And Hamlet again urges her and says that he thinks there's a little tiny bit of good left in her, but she needs to just completely cut Claudius off and not have any sort of marital relations with him. Don't be his wife anymore. And that will sort of ease her conscience, and it will sort of help the situation in Hamlet's eyes. In lines 179 to 187, Hamlet does say he is sorry that he killed Polonius. He says, "I do repent, but heaven hath pleased it so to punish me with this, and this with me, that I must be their scourge and minister. I will bestow him, and will answer well the death I gave him. So again, good night. I must be cruel only to be kind. This bad begins, and the worst remains behind. One word, good lady." And then he again urges her not to go and be Claudius's wife anymore, basically. Hamlet does seem to be repentant for killing Polonius, at least briefly. However, then we see him switch to a very woe is me, poor me, this is my fate sort of speech. And he says he's prepared to give an account. And he's not finished with his mission, though. And his mother is wondering, what should she do? Hamlet says at the end of the scene that he knows that Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, remember his schoolmates that have been trying to help him, they're up to something and they're going to get what they deserve if they are trying to trick him. And also, he says in line 219, "I'll lug the guts into the neighbor room. Mother, good night indeed." I find that line funny. He'll lug the guts, and it cracks me up. I know it's dark, but it's just such a unique way of putting it. And I also think he'd rather not call it a body because he's trying to make that killing easier on his conscience. Now in Ballad, we find that Coriolanus has also begun that slippery slope towards searing his conscience, if you will, as it begins with the compact for rat poison and the killing of the tribute in the arena. And it was self-defense, but Coriolanus struggles with the fact that he wanted to kill because of the circumstances. There was that line that we talked about in another episode where he mentioned that he wanted them all dead after having to rescue Sejanus from the arena. He was, in fact, very much wanting to kill someone. With that in mind, we're skipping to the part where Coriolanus realizes that Lucy Gray is about to be the victim of snakes in the arena. And he's seen Dr. Gall's creations and he knows about these colorful snakes. So he knows how to make Lucy survive. So he sneaks in a handkerchief that she'd given to him before the games that has her scent on it so the snakes don't attack her. And he hopes that nobody will notice. Page 285, except that line. Whether anyone pieced together his actions or not, he knew he had crossed it. In fact, he'd been dancing on top of it for some time. Coriolanus knows that he's been doing things underhandedly, but this event, that throwing the handkerchief in the snake pit, in his mind, it seems to be where he knows he has crossed the line for sure, no matter how much he reasons with himself. It's almost like that turning point where he's like, I know I crossed the line. He had struggled with the killing and the self-defense before because of his emotions about it, but this he knows. Because when he smuggled the compact into Lucy for rat poison, he was reasoning in his mind that it was because he wanted to save her. And this, though, it's more about himself, and he knows it. On page 302, we see a line that is very ironic. It says, perhaps she'd befriended several snakes back in District 12. Coriolanus says this as the snakes are going towards Lucy and not attacking her. And she's not afraid because, let's be real, a lot of us, if snakes were coming around us, even if they weren't going to hurt us, we'd be a little freaked out. At least I would be. I think that Coriolanus represents the snake she tried to befriend in the Capitol, and it's a foreshadowing that she'll be, quote, bitten by a snake in 12 when Coriolanus later turns on her. On page 385, we see the last verse of Lucy's song. She's fully believing that she is going to die, and she isn't going to fight it. She's just letting the snakes crawl all over her. She does not die, though, we see. And then the next page is Lucy's charming the snakes, and it is quite the show. Capitol loves it, and Lucy is very popular. However, in the next few pages, Coriolanus is worried that he's going to be caught for cheating, and he's in the final 5 because, remember, the victor of the Hunger Games, whoever is their mentor, is going to get that Plinth Prize, that scholarship, and he believes that is his only hope. Coriolanus is still very worried about that Plinth Prize because he knows that he is cheated now, like 100%. There's no explaining it away. And he says at the bottom of page 306, he's thinking, being in the final 5, he should have been flying high. But if one of the others won, Dean Higginbottom could still give him a prize that was insufficient to pay for university, perhaps citing the demerit as his reason. Only the Plinth Prize would truly protect him. On page 320, Snow is gloating. He is so excited. He has just won the Hunger Games as the mentor. Oh, Snow lands on top. It most certainly does. On page 320, he forced his cheeks to relax as he got to the door and straightened his jacket to help conceal the tipsy mess he actually was. It wouldn't do somehow to let Dr. Gall see him like that. When he opened the door to the high biology lab, he found only Dean Higginbottom, sitting in his usual place at the table. Close the door behind you. Coriolanus obliged. Perhaps the dean wanted to congratulate him in private, or even apologize for abusing him. A falling star might one day need have a rising one, but as he approached the dean, a cold dread washed over him. There, arranged on the table like lab specimens, were 3 items: an academy napkin stained with grape punch, his mother's silver compact, and a dingy white handkerchief. The meeting could not have lasted more than 5 minutes. Afterward, as agreed, Coriolanus headed directly to the recruitment center, where he became Panam's newest, if not shiniest, peacekeeper. Like Hamlet, his actions cost him his future for now. Now, there's a contrast in what happens in the end of Hamlet versus what happens in the end of Ballad, and it's very different. But in the longer Hunger Games series, eventually Coriolanus' actions do catch up with him. It does take years, though. But we'll wrap up for today. Continue watching the T-Shirt Teacher. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Have a wonderful day. And today's T-shirt says, Just one more chapter. That could be reading, writing, anything. Just one more chapter.